The strange thing about life is how quickly everything can shift from ordinary to unforgettable. One quiet evening, a simple decision pulled someone away from danger without much thought behind it. No heroic pose, no dramatic music, just instinct kicking in before hesitation could interfere. The moment passed almost unnoticed, but meaning settled into the air afterward like smoke refusing to rise. The person saved wasn't just another stranger. Power surrounded him the way shadows cling to alley walls. His world ran on fear, loyalty, and silence. Yet for the first time in years, someone stepped in without asking for anything. That kind of act doesn't get forgotten in circles where betrayal is common and kindness rare. Unexpected loyalty carries a weight deeper than any threat. In the days that followed, the air around the whole situation changed. The boss kept replaying the moment in his mind, shocked that someone outside his world acted with such clean intention. He wasn't used to people helping without a cost. His world taught him that every gesture hides a motive, every request hides a trap, and every smile hides a lie. But this situation confused him. It cut through the hardened skin around his instincts. For the first time in a long time, gratitude replaced suspicion. The feeling unsettled him because gratitude requires vulnerability, something he buried long ago. Yet the act remained etched into him like a marker he could not erase. Meanwhile, the person who saved him went back to their routine, unaware of the storm their choice stirred. No bragging, no boasting, no expectation, just life continuing as normal. But the boss's world does not operate on normal rules. In that realm, a debt is a sacred thing. When someone receives help without warning, the code of that world demands repayment. And repayment from a man of that level carries gravity. Suddenly, invisible eyes began watching with respect instead of suspicion. Doors quietly unlocked. Problems dissolved before they appeared. The universe rearranged itself in subtle ways, all because of a moment that seemed too small to matter at the time. In toxic environments, protection usually comes with strings attached. There is always a price hidden somewhere in the shadows. Yet this situation broke the pattern. There was no trick, no angle, no expectation of reward. That purity shook the boss more than any threat ever had. It reminded him of a version of himself buried under years of survival. People change when life forces hardness upon them. But an unexpected act can soften even the coldest corners of a heart shaped by violence. The strange part is how such a moment can expose truth in those who witness it. Some tried to understand why it happened. Others whispered theories. Yet none of them knew that sometimes a person acts simply because their conscience refuses to stay silent. Psychologically, the moment taught an important lesson. Power sits at the top of society, yet even the strongest figures remain human beneath layers of fear and authority. Everyone craves safety. Everyone craves sincerity. Everyone remembers the moment someone chose to protect instead of harm. When power meets genuine loyalty, the environment shifts because it breaks the expected pattern. This shift creates a new dynamic, one built not on fear but on respect. In many ways, that new dynamic grants more influence than any weapon or threat ever could. A small act becomes a quiet signature of strength. The boss, in his world of shadows and silent deals, began re-evaluating people in his circle. Many around him spoke loud words but carried empty loyalty. They promised much but delivered little. The person who saved him, however, acted without speech, without demand. That silence carried more weight than any oath. It became a mirror, showing him who was real and who just played a role. Gratitude slowly shifted into respect, and respect slowly shifted into obligation. Not the kind born from force, but the kind born from honor. Even men who rule through fear know the difference. And once that difference is felt, alliances change. As the situation evolved, the person who acted that day found that life became strangely lighter. Obstacles vanished before they even noticed them. Conflicts resolved themselves. People who once ignored them started treating them differently, though they didn't know why. Power can move silently when it chooses to. Influence can travel quietly through rooms, touching conversations and decisions long before the person affected ever becomes aware. This is the hidden benefit of doing the right thing without expecting a reward. Life finds a way to circle that energy back with interest. Yet within all this, an important truth emerged. Acts of courage do not need an audience. They do not need praise. They define character more than circumstances ever could. In a toxic place, one act of bravery can shift the entire atmosphere. It can expose true intentions. It can reveal hidden alliances. It can awaken strength in someone who thought they were alone. The person who saved the boss never intended to change anything, yet change arrived anyway. That is the quiet power of integrity in chaotic settings. It creates ripples without trying. The boss eventually reached a point where the debt weighed heavier on him than fear itself. In his world, owing someone is not taken lightly. He understood the significance of having his life saved, especially by someone who moved through life without greed or agenda. His gratitude became a promise to himself. This person would never face danger alone again. And when a man with that level of reach makes such a decision, the entire landscape adjusts. Allies form behind the scenes. Protection follows unspoken. Opportunities appear out of nowhere. Not because of manipulation, but because respect has turned into something deeper. Sometimes power is born in moments so small that no one notices them at first. A crowded room chooses silence, chooses comfort, chooses the easy way out. Everyone senses something wrong happening, but hesitation freezes them. Their fear whispers excuses. Their apathy builds the stage for harm. Then one person steps forward, not because they want recognition, but because their conscience refuses to sit quietly. That simple act becomes a break in the pattern, a shift in the air, a reminder that courage doesn't need an audience to matter. It only needs one person willing to interrupt the script everyone else accepted. In that moment, the room sees what strength looks like without theatrics. It is clean, precise, uncomplicated. Doing what others avoided becomes the act that defines the entire story, long before anyone realizes how deep the impact will reach. Such moments happen in toxic workplaces all the time. A voice gets cornered, a coworker gets disrespected, or a leader abuses their authority with a smirk that suggests no one will stop them. People watch from their desks, eyes lowered, pretending to be too busy to intervene. The silence becomes a weapon used by the wrong side. Then one person stands up or speaks up, or even gives a simple, "No, that's not right." The room freezes because courage always surprises those who learn to live without it. And the shift begins there. The abuser loses their comfort. The quiet ones feel a spark of hope. The environment takes its first breath of honesty, all from a move that seemed too small to matter. In friend circles, the same truth appears. Gossip flows, reputations get shredded, and someone becomes the target simply because their kindness made them easy prey. The crowd laughs because fear of exclusion forces them into cruelty disguised as fun. No one wants to be the one who disrupts the flow. Until someone breaks the rhythm, one person says enough. The laughter fades. The atmosphere stiffens. The truth creeps into the room like a warning. That act changes more than the conversation. It changes the dynamic forever. Mockery loses its power once someone chooses integrity over belonging. And the person who made that choice unknowingly becomes the reference point of real loyalty. Relationships reveal this lesson in the sharpest ways. One partner manipulates, twists words, gaslights, uses affection as currency. The other swallows discomfort to keep the peace. They shrink themselves to maintain a connection that was never balanced to begin with. Until a moment arrives where the soul refuses to bend anymore. A boundary is drawn. A truth is spoken. A door is closed. That act of self-respect, tiny as it seems, breaks a cycle that would have lasted years. Power rises not through aggression, but through the refusal to abandon one's dignity. The partner doing harm feels the shift instantly, not because of confrontation, but because control slips through their fingers when the person they underestimated finally stands firm. Family environments show the same truth with even more weight. Generational patterns pass through households like old traditions no one questions. Guilt becomes a chain. Silence becomes a rule. Emotional manipulation hides behind phrases used to disguise control. Then one person grows enough to see the pattern clearly. They stop accepting responsibility that never belonged to them. They set boundaries that were never taught in the home. The family reacts with shock or anger, but the shift is irreversible. That single act disrupts a cycle that existed long before their birth. And years later, younger relatives follow the same example because someone proved it was possible to cut the chain. Power grows in these moments because doing what no one else will do reveals character most never develop. It exposes who carries real strength beneath the softness. It shows who is willing to endure discomfort to protect what is right. People notice this even if they pretend not to. Respect forms quietly around the one who acts. Fear forms around the one who depended on silence. And over time, the person who made that one brave decision becomes the one others look to when truth, protection, or honesty is needed. Leadership formed without force carries more influence than any title ever could. In environments filled with insecurity, jealousy, and unspoken competition, doing the right thing becomes the ultimate rebellion. It disrupts those who thrive on manipulation. It rises above those who cling to hierarchy. It confuses those who rely on pressure to gain compliance. Toxic people hate unpredictability, and nothing is more unpredictable than moral courage. Control begins to crumble the moment someone refuses to play the expected role. That refusal sends a shock through the group. The ones who were silent now see possibility. The ones who were loud lose their audience. One act can dismantle the entire architecture of dysfunction. The beauty of these moments is found in their simplicity. No elaborate plan, no dramatic monologue, just a single step made from instinct, compassion, or clarity. Yet that step carries weight because it comes from a place free of ego. Doing what others fear to do builds a silent authority that cannot be taken away. It creates a reputation stronger than any rumor. It replaces the need for approval with the certainty of self. And those who once doubted the person begin to shift their perspective, realizing that strength was never loud. It was steady. Over time, the one who acted notices something subtle. Problems seem easier to navigate. People respond with more respect. Toxic individuals avoid crossing certain lines. Quiet support appears in surprising places. Not because of intimidation, but because authenticity carries a magnetic pull. When someone consistently chooses what is right over what is convenient, the world rearranges itself around them. Doors open, opportunities appear, alliances form. Some call it luck, others call it favor. But the truth is simple. Power gravitates toward those who act with courage when silence is easier.